Today what we're going to do is a new show, or I guess a new version of the show that is crate talk, news, reviews, general information for those of you out there that aren't following every publication online to get the news that's dropping constantly throughout the day, and like to talk about staying within the confines of comic books, science fiction, fantasy, that sort of thing. That's what this show is. We're going to talk about things that fall within those parameters. So if you want to talk about a Scandal or Ray Donovan or Blue Bloods or something like that, that's awesome. And you know, I love all those shows, but that's not what this is. That's not what we're here for. Crate Talk, we're going to be talking about things that fall within the confines of the genre world. Like I said, comic books, science fiction, fantasy, possibly some horror, touch on some of that, you know. Then yeah, so here we are. It's Wednesday, Crate Talk, news from me to you, and let's get it in. Let's see what we got first. The Hollywood News just released information regarding Ridley Scott's Alien Covenant. Will be coming out August 4th, I believe, starting out in the UK. Covenant is the second film in a prequel trilogy that started out with Prometheus, and the events in these films will lead up directly to 1979 Alien, which was a classic. So there's that. This is essentially about, let's see what it says word for word. Bound for a remote planet on the far side of the galaxy, the crew of the colony ship Covenant discover that what they think is an uncharted paradise, but is actually a dark, dangerous world whose sole inhabitant is David, the synthetic survivor of the doomed Prometheus expedition. David was Michael Fassbender, of course. So I don't know. I don't really care. Personally, I don't care. I'm not interested. I'm not doing a prediction that's gonna be bad, but based off of Prometheus, I don't have high hopes. Prometheus was not a good movie. And this is Ginger Ale. So I don't know. Personally, I think that Prometheus had a lot of flaws. It had a lot of things that were wrong with it, that missed the boat, you know, that missed it, and I just feel like this is something, if it's a direct sequel to Prometheus, that it will follow. Whether, you know, how much Ridley Scott is involved, and no diss to Ridley Scott. I mean, I love Ridley Scott. A lot of his older stuff is amazing, but I don't know. I just don't know. And then, you know, Neil Blomkamp is doing this one, so we will be going in a slightly different direction with a different captain on the ship. But I don't know. Personally, I'm not excited. Again, I'm not saying that I think it's going to be terrible or that it'll be great. I'm hesitant. It's a good word. I'm hesitant to throw my hat into the Alien Covenant ring. But that's just me. So I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think it's going to be a flop? Do you think it's going to be amazing? Are you excited about this? I'm willing to, you know, to give it a shot. I'll go see it at least once. You know, you'll never catch me critiquing a film, positive or negative, without seeing it. I'm not one of those. I'm not going to be the guy who, I don't want to see it because it looks stupid, so I'm not going to do that. And you shouldn't do that either, honestly. You know, it's subjective, so go see it. If you don't want to pay full price, go to the matinee. If you don't want to pay matinee, wait for the second run theater and see it for $1 to $3. You know, but you should go see it. Go see the movie and then let me know. We'll come back and revisit it when it gets released, and we'll talk about it in more detail then. But let me know what you think. All right. Okay, so something that's been pretty big lately is, well, Deadpool. Deadpool was a huge thing. A lot of folks, let me rephrase this, a lot of non-already Deadpool fans were not exactly drinking the Deadpool Kool-Aid. But those of us who were knew that it would kick ass, and it did. Deadpool kicked ass, and it's still kind of kicking ass. And it's you know, the largest, I don't know what the numbers are, R-rated release for when it came out ever in the history of ever. You know, and people, of course, their heads are blowing up and they're going nuts, and it's money and it's ratings and it's everything happening and potential and what can we do? What can we do? What can we do? So we'll put that right there for right now. Then what we got going on is in about, what's today's date? 10 days, 9 days, 10 days, we'll get the newest installment to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which is Captain America Civil War. And as we all know by now, somebody featured in Captain America Civil War is your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Which is a huge thing, because Spider-Man, this pretty much is for, I guess we could say this is a refresher for those of us who have been following and know what's going on, and it's insight for those who don't care as much as we do and maybe don't know what's going on. So Marvel are all those things that you know for the last 10 years. X-Men, Fantastic Four, Spider-Man, the Avengers. We'll keep it confined to that. It's also things like Blade, but we're going to leave Blade out of it for right now. So the thing is, it's been a big deal what's been happening over with Disney and Marvel as far as these Avengers films are concerned. Because this is the first time that we've had team-ups like this, you know, where you have Iron Man, you know, big star, own franchise. Captain America, big star, his own franchise. The Hulk franchise, you know, Guardians of the Galaxy, Ant-Man, you know, all these different things. Thor, you know, all these different things with their own star headliners, their own franchises doing their own thing. And with the Avengers, it all came together. And that's a huge deal. That's never happened before. So what we have now is essentially Avengers 2.5, which is Captain America Civil War. And one of the new elements to that is the addition of Spider-Man. Now that's huge, because the Avenger characters, as we've known them up till now, are all characters that are owned and controlled cinematically by Marvel itself. You know, Disney, because Disney owns Marvel. So Marvel, Disney own those characters. Now, you might be saying to yourself, but they're all Marvel characters, that doesn't make sense. Okay, so Fantastic Four and Fantastic Four and the X-Men and all of their characters, meaning Wolverine, Gambit, Cyclops, Storm, Mystique, Professor X, Magneto, any mutants, characters that are mutants, are all owned by Fox. And Spider-Man is, for the most part, owned by Sony. This all happened back in the day when Marvel was having some financial issues and started licensing out their characters. So what happens is these studios have to remake movies, or not remake, but make movies involving these characters every so many years, or they lose control. What happened last year that was huge was an arrangement was struck between Marvel, Disney Marvel, and Sony that now allows both companies to utilize Spider-Man. So that's why there's a new Spider-Man. That's why it's not Garfield anymore, because Garfield was a part of Sony's Spider-Man Spider-Verse. And in that Spider-Verse, the Avengers didn't exist. So they had to do a brand new Spider-Man. And in that brand new Spider-Man, it is in the world where the Avengers exist. He's referenced at the end of Ant-Man. He's going to be a part of Civil War. And we know that certain Marvel characters will appear in the Sony movie. Now, Sony is still making the Spider-Man films. but it's all kind of under the watchful eye of Kevin Feige. So that's all that. So Sony and Marvel are kind of now on the same side of the playing field, which still leaves Fox. Now, Fox owns Deadpool because Deadpool is a mutant. Hence why Deadpool has X-Men in his movie. And Deadpool references Wolverine all the time. And he has, Cyclops is there, so it's a mutant thing. So that's the Fox universe. However, what Fox did is this, they've now kind of splintered themselves, and now they're kind of like Universe A and Universe B. And Universe A is the Bryan Singer universe, which is the Bryan Singer universe, which is the X-Men movies that we've been watching. Well, I guess it actually got 3. So the main 2, though, we're going to forget about Fantastic Four. Forget Fantastic Four for right now. X-Men is all we're dealing with. Mutants and X-Men. So Mutant Universe A is the Singer universe, which is Hugh Jackman's Wolverine, Patrick Stewart's Xavier, and all those movies. Apocalypse is coming out in a couple weeks. Singer universe. Then there's B, which is the Tim Miller universe. The Tim Miller universe is Deadpool. Deadpool is rated R. It's comical. It's a different, tonally, 2 different things, right? And that was further established by the use of Colossus. The use of Colossus and how he looks and sounds in that is different than he's ever looked or sounded in the Singer universe. So Fox has to deal with that. Fox has to find a way to make that work if they're ever going to combine those 2. So, just to recap, Fox universe, Disney universe. So, what happens a lot in the comic books is they've teamed up before. They worked together before. In the cartoon, they worked together before. They're hilarious to watch together because they're both of the same ilk, except one is in his 30s and cusses a lot and, sex, drugs, and rock and roll. And the other one is a teenager who doesn't cuss a lot and lives with his aunt. So, for the most part, that's the difference. But all that aside, I bring all this up because what's happening now is people who are aware of what happens in the comic book animation world are super excited. And people who love Deadpool are super excited. And people behind the scenes and in front of the scenes and the audience members are all super excited. And they want to see Deadpool and Spider-Man come together. They want to see Fox and Sony make an agreement that will allow Deadpool and Spider-Man to do something together. Now, the fan side of me, the true side of me is like, hell yeah, let's do that. Let's kick some ass. I would love to see Deadpool and Spider-Man work together. However, the realist side of me, I don't really understand how that can happen. Simply because even if you look, even if the business side is put away, the legal side, the contract side, all that stuff, the rights are all put to the side for a minute. You still have this problem of Deadpool's a mutant. And in the Deadpool film, we established there are mutants. Even in the beginning, when the mob guy is dealing with Francis, he walks away saying like, I hate mutants. Something to that effect. We go to Xavier's mansion. The X-Men are active. So that's that. There are no mutants in the MCU. There are no mutants. And even if you want to say, well, we just never talked about them, and you want to connect all that, there's still the Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver to deal with. So that's another topic altogether. So I don't know. I mean, I feel like if it were to happen, what would have to happen is either you run the risk of confusing a lot of people, a lot of the general audience, by saying that there's a multiverse within Marvel characters, and that the Deadpool that was Tim Miller's Deadpool, that referenced the X-Men and the mutants and referenced Wolverine, maybe might not be the same Deadpool that would pop up on Spider-Man. I mean, still have Ryan Reynolds play it, of course, because he was born to be Deadpool. But so that's option one. Option one is you confuse people by saying, no, there's two Deadpools, they're in different universes, you know, and that'll drive people nuts, and the general audience will get confused, I think. Not everybody, but enough will get confused. So there's that. Or option B is you piss a lot of people off by ending and restarting again. You know. And honestly, well, I mean, the option A could happen quicker. Option A could all of a sudden be like, oh, we decided there's going to be another Deadpool, and he's in this, you know, he's in the Marvel universe, and he's not a mutant. He was a victim of a test subject program that went wrong, and you know, his genes now alter, don't mutate. His genes now alter to where anytime he gets hurt, he miraculously heals himself. Or you could have Doctor Strange whip up his mojo and affect somebody by accident. Someone gets, you know, as a casualty of a fight involving Doctor Strange, and the magic washed over him, and now he just regenerates constantly, and nothing can kill him. You could do that, you know, but then you still, you know, there's still two Deadpools played by the same actor, because let's be honest now, just like how no one else can play Wolverine, no one else can be Deadpool. And no one else can be Wolverine. So there's that. So I don't know. This is all just, you know, speculation and my curious mind at work. What do you think? Would you be interested in even seeing Deadpool and Spider-Man together? You know, what's your opinion on that? And what do you think would be the best way to do it? What would be your suggestion? If you could sit in a room with, you know, the head of Disney, you know, people, Disney and Fox and Sony and Marvel, you could sit in a room with these decision makers who essentially would be the ones in control of what would actually unfold. What would you say? You know, what would your suggestion be? What would be your helpful tip to tell them, like, hey, if you did it like this, it could work, you know? So I don't know. What do you think? Let me know. Put it in the comments section below. All right. Let's see. I think we got time. I kind of went on and on and on there. We'll do one more. All right, let's see what we got. So, for our third and final tale for the day, I'm going to label this as maybe 75% rumor with a hint of wishful thinking involved. So, on Sunday, MovieWeb.com released an interview that Robert Downey Jr. gave to Shortlist.com regarding the next installment of Guy Ritchie's Sherlock Holmes films. The first one, I believe, was 2009, followed up by Game of Shadows in 2011. And now, apparently, Robert Downey Jr. is saying that there's a possibility that there will be a third. His quote, taken from the article, is, "We're talking about it right now. We can do some preliminary stuff. If we could shoot the whole thing on Skype, we could have the whole movie done in a week. When we're making those Sherlock films, it's off the hook. So we'll attempt to make one this year. It really is a big deal to go and do those movies. I'm tired all the time, but I'm also so excited about it." So he's excited about it. Apparently he is trying to meet up with Ritchie, and they've been talking about it. And they'd like to get it done this year. We'll get started on it this year, which would be amazing. I would love that. Obviously he's been busy doing some marvelous things the last couple years. So Iron Man's been a busy guy. All that being said, I'm a huge Sherlock Holmes fan. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I read some of the books. I've read some of the stories about Sherlock Holmes. You know, when I can, little bits here and there. I'm a fan of what Cumberbatch is doing over at the BBC. And, Elementary. Over on, you know, on American television, Elementary. You know, and so I'm excited. I like this stuff. I think that Robert Downey Jr. is a very good Sherlock Holmes. I think Jude Law is a fantastic Watson. I think the tone and the type of film that they've been doing and the stories they've been telling have been really spot on and excellent. So I'm excited. So for me, this is high anticipation. If you're doing the thumbs thing, I'd say I give this rumor the hopefulness of this actually coming to fruition, I give it 2 thumbs up because I'm really excited. But I don't know. What do you think? What do you guys think? So let me know. Let me know. I know things are a little bit rough. It's kind of a odd format that we're doing here, and I'm kind of all over the place. But that's just me. That's just how I am. This is an ever-evolving program that we're doing here. So I'm testing the waters, trying new things out, and we'll kind of see where it goes from there. So today we talked about Alien Covenant. We talked about how could we get Deadpool and Spider-Man on screen together, and we talked a little bit about possibility of a Sherlock Holmes 3. So let me know what you think. Let me know what you think about any of those topics. You know, what are some articles that you've read that you want to hear about more, that you want to talk about? Just let me know what you think. Alright, so be sure to hit subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. Like us if you liked us. If you didn't like us, don't like us, that's fine. Yeah. You know, put your 2 cents below. So thanks a lot for coming out. Adam George. Catch me, one Adam George, on Twitter, on Instagram. And yeah, see you guys soon. Great talk.